What's up, everyone? It is David Mailer here, the Man on Fire mentor, coming to you. Yes, all of you on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, you name it, we're out there finding you guys. Anyway, as always, it is an honor to be of service to my fellow brothers, and we are here to help each other rise. We're here to help one another grow. You know, it's too often and too common that men try to hold each other down and we're cutting each other. And in the Man on Fire community, we are here to champion one another. We're here to support one another, challenge one another, and hold one another accountable to our true potential. And this is what it's all about. We believe at Man on Fire that each of you are the lighthouse. And it's very easy for us to lose who we truly are. It's very easy for us to go into the forgetting. And Man on Fire is all about helping a man come home to the remembrance of who we are. And one of the ways that we do that is through love. We love you guys back into the remembrance of who you are. Not to be confused with, yes, you'll be challenged and you'll be held accountable, but love is the secret sauce. Love is the secret ingredient, because love really means you're not really in your head. And when you're in your head, you can't really be in your heart. So our community is all about really taking a stand for another man, where it's encoded with empathy and it's encoded with compassion, because there's a deep love and a deep care for our fellow brother. Knowing that when you rise and when you grow, everyone in your circle wins. It becomes a ripple effect that is so healthy for everyone that you're involved with, especially your immediate family and your children. So that brings us to today's topic, which is, what are the 3 things that you must be for a woman's heart? And you guys, if you've been following me for a while, you've heard me talk about this all the time, but it's certainly worth going back into, because it's fair to say that most men hold a high level of shame and guilt on their shoulders, meaning there's things that we've done in our life that we are plain and simply not proud of. And when we hold all the shame and all this guilt, it also gives us an unconscious permission to not have to get up, not have to rise up, not have to step up, and not have to change our ways. And it becomes a part of our identity. Right? We've hurt people in our life. We've hurt our children. We've hurt our loved ones, our girlfriend, our fiance, our wife, our ex-wife. We've hurt them. Maybe it's physically, maybe it's emotionally, maybe it's mentally, maybe it's spiritually. But when we're not operating at our full capacity as a man, it stands to reason that the people in our life are going to be hurt. You know, we could be very sharp with our words. And when we're going into a space where we don't feel worthy, we don't feel lovable, we have a tendency to act out. And whether that's aggressively or passive aggressively, you know, getting sharp with the tongue, gaslighting, steamrolling, this is very common, you know, with the men that I've had conversations with that have found their ways to our 4-day immersions, where there's just stuff we've done we're simply not proud of. So deep down, what I believe a man is really here to do is to grow. Like if you ask somebody, you know, what's a man's purpose here on this planet? And the answer is to grow. And what do I mean by grow? I mean to grow and evolve your consciousness, to raise your frequency, to raise your vibration. Why? Because when you're growing and when you raise your vibration, you see the world differently. Your filter for humanity changes, and you feel a deeper calling, you know, beyond what you do for a living, beyond what you do for a job. You feel a deeper calling to be of greater level of service to others. And depending upon how much you've grown will be in relationship to how much service you want to be to others, because with wisdom comes great responsibility. And if you think of wisdom in the sense of I am evolving my consciousness so I can now see what I previously couldn't see, right? We've heard the expression, I didn't know that I didn't know, or I couldn't see what I couldn't see. And now that I could see it, what do? Do I turn a blind eye, or do I take responsibility for it? So as we grow our frequency, as we evolve and come back into the remembrance of who we are, which is just consciousness, we feel compelled to be of greater service to others. And that's what Man on Fire is all about, right? Imagine, you know, I had this knowing that I am here to serve men and help them rise into their mature masculine and become the leaders that they were born to be. Imagine I have this knowing, but I ignore it. So with this sense of wisdom comes deep and great responsibility. Now, I'm sharing all this because one of, and probably the most important reasons that a man is here on earth in the evolution of his consciousness is to become these 3 things for a woman's heart. So what are they? It is to become the gatekeeper, the guardian, the gatekeeper, and the guardian. The third one will come to me in a moment. My brain hasn't been screwed on properly today, but we are here as men to become the gatekeeper and the guardian and the protector of the feminine heart. What does that mean? What is all this fluff? It means that if you really recognize the level of fragility in a woman's heart, if you could really recognize how scary it is for her to keep her heart open, for her to be in the full reveal of her heart and share it with the world, you would want to be one of the men that conducts yourself in a way that operates in such a way where you sign on to be the protector and the gatekeeper and the guardian of her heart. So imagine for a moment you have a little girl. Excuse me. Imagine you have, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, and you just see the purity, the innocence, the playful spirit, the light. You could still see the stars and the sun and the moon in her eyes, and you just see the purity of her innocence. And you recognize that there are men out there that want to harm children. There are men out there that want to harm women. And it's easy to see other people that do this, but it's harder to look in the mirror and recognize, are you one of the men that's contributing to being the guardian and the protector and the gatekeeper of the feminine heart? Or are you one of the men that is actually hurting the feminine heart? And, men will have justifications. Yeah, well, because she does this or she does that, or she won't get off my back, or she's always cold, or she won't take the bricks down. We have all these reasons and stories and excuses as to the justifications as to why it's okay to treat her in a certain way. And you guys know deep down, that's not any of that is, none of that is true. We have to rise up. We have to grow our maturity. We have to grow our leadership. We have to get with our own stuff. We have to get with our own emotions. We have to dissipate our own charges and polarities and triggers. And we have to become imperturbable and unwavering and steadfast, meaning in the center of who we are, no matter what a woman brings to you, right? Because what happens with a lot of men is that they feel like they're failing in the eyes of their partner, the lady, the woman, the queen that they're with. They feel like they're failing. Like, how come she's not happy? Why is she miserable? Why is she cold? Why is she putting up walls? Why is she talking to me so harshly? Why is there no communication? Why are we sleeping in separate rooms? And so it's a very debilitating feeling for a man when he feels like he can't get through to the one person that he'd like to bring the most joy to. And rather than a man getting with his own unworthiness around this, his own feelings of being unlovable, he'll have a tendency unconsciously, unknowingly, to lash out at her because he doesn't feel successful. And so part of the way that we gain back control is we become aggressive, or we become angry, or we become forceful, and we gaslight and we steamroll. And now we're treating this sacred being. Remember, at one point she was just a little girl, and we're treating this sacred being not with reverence anymore, but with disrespect. So today's live is super special to me because this has been my journey as a man, right? I'd say that I was always a good guy. I tried to do the right thing, but deep down, a lot of my good guy ways were just me being a pleaser. It wasn't really authentic. It was more about saying, please like me. But there are plenty of times in my life that I hurt the women that I was with, not physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, by not operating in my full capacity, by not really being an up-leveled version of myself, and not realizing the fragility of the feminine heart. And some of us could look at our relationship with our mother and recognize we haven't treated her with the respect that she deserves. And we have these reasons why it's okay to justify it. And I'll be the first to tell you, no, it's not okay. We have to get to a place in our own life where we have grown so much that we literally, can get to a point where we don't need something outside of ourselves to define who we are. We don't have to be so concerned with whether or not somebody's happy or not happy. We could get to a place as a man where we maintain our center. We have our roots so deeply in the ground like a mighty oak tree that no matter what's coming at us, it doesn't knock us off of our center. We're solid, we're unwavering, we're imperturbable, we're steadfast in the knowingness of who we are. We're so rooted and so in our power and so in our hearts and so connected to our intuition, our intuitive knowing, and we have fostered a relationship with our creator This is the journey of a man, is to come home to this place of leadership where you're resonating and vibing at such a high frequency that you want to be of contribution to the guardianship, to the protecting and being the gatekeeper of the feminine, rather than just being another guy that hurts them. And I don't think anybody does it intentionally, but obviously you would have had to have lost your way to get to a place where you're hurting somebody rather than serving them from a place of love. So I want this to be a call to action for all of you guys to really take a cold, hard look at recognizing that, do you want to be one of the men that, hurts a woman? Or do you want to be one of the men that lifts them up, builds them up, champions them, and holds such a sacred place for their heart to fully open and fully reveal? And I can tell you what I'm committed to. I can tell you what the Man on Fire Brotherhood is committed to. And I'm guessing you guys would like to be that as well. But to do that, you would have to be willing to work on yourself. To do that, you would have to be willing to grow. To do that, you would have to be willing to get with all the things that you push down that are coming out unconsciously through rage and through frustration in a misplaced direction, where you're ending up hurting somebody through the harshness of your words or through the physicalness of your demeanor. And we have to recognize how sensitive the feminine is. Throughout time, there's been such an abuse to the feminine that it's very rare to meet a lot of women that are just so in their hearts and so full of radiance, because let's face it, the world could be a cruel place. Men have ill intentions. Most men that follow my lives and men that I've worked with, have addictions to porn. We have a very unhealthy relationship to the feminine. We don't hold them as sacred. We don't have this relationship where we have spiritual type of sex and making love. It's more like, more of a rudimentary, junior high school type of lover, where you're just not connected to your heart. It's coming from your head. And so this is a call to all of you guys that want to be the guardian, want to be the protector, want to be the gatekeeper to the feminine heart. Well, that's going to happen by you choosing to grow yourself as a man. That's going to happen by you choosing to up-level your consciousness. And this is exactly what Man on Fire is all about. So if you're one of those guys that wants to show up more powerfully in every phase of your life, especially how you show up for the feminine, and you truly want to grow yourself, not so that you could feel like you're enough, but you want to grow yourself so you can come from a higher place of service, and you want to grow yourself because you realize you came to this planet to grow, then put below, I am ready to grow, big capital letters. And we'll have you talk to our community manager, and he'll have some dialogue with you to see if you're truly ready to enter into one of our coaching programs. We have multiple programs. You guys know there's this free Facebook and YouTube and Instagram that we always offer. There's programs that we've done for $97. And then we have coaching programs that start as low as $2,000 all the way up into the six figures. And so if you're one of the guys that feels you need a deeper level of support, you want a deeper level of challenge and accountability where you're having interaction with another man live, through video or through phone or in person, and you just know that you need that level of challenge from another man, and you are vibing and resonating with my message over the weeks or over the months, and you want to explore one of our coaching programs, let us know. I am ready to grow. And I ask, respectfully, that you do this if you know that you're in a place where you're ready to invest in yourself energetically, through time, and also financially. And if you're not in a place, meaning if it's reckless for you to invest in yourself at this point, whether it's with Man on Fire or something else, then wait until you are in a space where, for example, if you can't pay your rent, you really shouldn't be exploring one of our coaching programs if it would be financially irresponsible. And we're not here to support you in being irresponsible with your finances. And at the same time, excuse me, we want to hold you, to a higher standard. We want to hold you responsible to what's possible. So if you're that guy that is ready to grow and you want some support, you want some challenge, you want a deeper level of accountability, type below, I am ready to grow. And we will have one of our community managers reach out to you and explore a conversation to see if that's really true. Okay. From the other week, I believe there was a question or two that I might not have gotten to. So if I did already get to this, yeah, I'm going to type in some, I'm going to answer some questions. Before I do that, why don't you guys type below, what are you hearing thus far in what I've shared? In the meantime, if you wouldn't mind, smash up the like key, and hit me up with some fire signs. The more that you guys comment and hit the like button, the more men get to see our videos, which is what we want. We want a lot of guys to be able to have access to being able to grow. And you guys hitting the like key and throwing fire signs and putting in comments is super helpful. All right, my dog is going nuts. You probably hear him in the background. Another dog just walked by. Okay, so let me address a few of the questions that were submitted from you guys. And here we go. Number one, this first gentleman, he writes, can you share some examples or ways on how to get trust back in yourself and in your relationship? How to get the trust back in yourself and in your relationship? Yes. Well, the way to get it back in your relationship is, number one, to show that you are committed to a life of growth as a man. You're not going to be one of those guys that's, smoking weed every day, drinking every day, playing video games every day, sitting on the couch, scrolling senselessly through Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and you actually want to grow. You're showing that you are in the 1 percentile of men that truly want to grow, and allowing your wife, your partner, to witness that, where she sees your level of commitment, she sees the integrity that you're operating at. That's one way. The second way is you have to be willing to go dig up the ways that you've hurt her in the past. You have to be willing to explore the conversations that go all the way back, maybe even to when you were first dating, because most men, they don't go deep enough on the past hurts and the past betrayals. And it's really important that you dig up, unearth, excavate like an archaeologist, and look at how have you hurt her in the past and address those things and go deeper and really get with the empathy and compassion of how you've hurt her. Don't do it to unburden yourself. Don't do it to relieve yourself. Do it to unburden her. And this will be a huge way of how you can start to get the trust back in your relationship and in yourself, is by confronting the conversations that have been difficult for you, and being willing to go deeper with her in these conversations and taking ownership and responsibility for where you've dropped standard, where you've hurt her. That would be my initial suggestion. It's a lot deeper than that, but you guys who have been following me for a while, from a lot of the questions I've answered, we'll have more information there. All right, so what are you guys hearing? Put it in the comments. What did you hear just from me answering that one question? Type it below. Smash up that like key. Throw me the fire signs. All right, let's move forward. Okay, next question that was submitted. This gentleman writes, my wife of 13 years left me and took the kids because she said I wasn't spending enough time with them. She wants a divorce and won't even consider doing marriage counseling. How do I approach this situation? Do I still fight to stay married or just accept that it is over? Okay. Well, for starters, the gentleman who wrote this, my heart goes out to you, brother. And let me be clear for anyone that might be following me for the first time. I am not here to ever tell somebody to stay in or to get out of a relationship. What I am good at and what I commit to doing is asking the right questions so that you can find the truth inside of yourself. And it's very hard for a man to truly know what he wants to do if he's not connecting with his heart. So most of us, rather than face the pain that's in front of us and the amount of work that would be required to repair and revitalize and reignite a relationship, most of us want out so we can just start over with a clean slate. But the thing is, you bring the crap with you. If you haven't done the dirty work, you bring it with you. So, what would I suggest to this guy? I've questions like, how long have you known that she doesn't want to be with you? If you've been married for 13 years, have you been living in the dark? Have you been present to what's really going on? Have you been ignoring the signs and the signals? So I would like to know all this. And, did the divorce come as a total surprise to you? Has it been brought up before? And so how do you approach this situation? Well, first get clarity on whether or not you truly love her and want to be with her for the right reasons. And if you do, then you let her know. Let her know that this is what I want. And you're gonna have to dig up, where did she start shutting down? Where were the betrayals, the micro and the macro betrayals? And you got to get with the truth inside of your heart, brother, as to whether or not you want to be with this woman, not from a place of neediness or codependency, but from a place of I truly love her and I want to be with her, and this is not what I want. So you're going to have to be able to penetrate her in that if you don't come from a place of neediness and codependency, you should be able to open up the gateway to having a conversation with her, of getting her to share with you like what's really coming up for her. But it sounds to me, from what limited amounts you've posted here, that there's been a long history of her not feeling seen and heard and felt, and you not necessarily going deep enough to like really to match her and meet her. And so this doesn't come as a surprise, and to you it might. So I think you're gonna have to really dig deep, get truthful with what's inside of your heart, and do everything in your power to get her to open up to you without using force. You know, come from a really clean place, not a wounded little boy. Come from the man inside of you, and see if you can open up that doorway to get into her heart, to have a real conversation. There's so much involved here, guys. I mean, you know, there could be things that a woman has done where she's out of integrity with her own soul, and it's easier for her to leave the relationship rather than face you and tell you things she's done. I mean, there's so many different scenarios. Naturally, if I'm not interacting with you and I can't ask you questions in real time, I don't have enough information to properly advise. All right, let me get to one more question, maybe two, because I'm a little bit under the weather today. So let me get another question. This gentleman writes, how do you gain mastery over your mind after you notice the limiting patterns where you lack the commitment to follow through on the goals you speak and write down? I've noticed a pattern where I speak things into potential, write goals down, and then do the opposite of the intention, and even avoid or sabotage the action of following through. Such a beautiful question. So I actually did a post on this a week or two ago about how to gain mastery over your mind. So you're going to want to go back and listen to that. And this is one of my specialties that I teach. So to answer your question very simply, what I would tell this gentleman is, if you're not honoring your word and staying in integrity with your word, and you're not showing the decisiveness and discipline to do what you said you were going to do and stay on task, then put simply, you need to get your butt into a supportive culture that will push you, stretch you, challenge you, and hold you accountable. That's what Man on Fire is. That's why we have different coaching programs. You're not going to get it from me just interacting like this with you on a video, because no one's holding you accountable. Like, I'm saying things, and a lot of you guys are nodding your head going, yeah, what he's saying makes so much sense. But if you don't have somebody supporting you, challenging you, and holding you to the fire of your true potential, you're going to drop standard. You're going to go back to your old ways, unless you have a Navy SEAL mindset, which some people do. So this is why we have a coaching program. This is why we put guys into our programs, because here you will have other guys where you're traveling together and you can hold each other accountable without being able to be challenged by other men and be held accountable. The reality is you're not going to follow through. So what would I tell this guy is to get in a culture of other men that won't tolerate you playing small. Man on Fire is one of them. And if you resonate with us, great. Let us know. I'm ready to grow. We'll reach out to you. We'll have a conversation with you, and we'll see which program of ours is right for you. If it's not Man on Fire, get involved with another program. Do something that's going to challenge you. All right. I am going to answer this one last question, and then we're going to call it a day, guys. In the meantime, smash up that like key, throw some more comments below, and please share my videos with other men. All right, this gentleman writes, can you give some perspective or direction on finding my why? Why am I here? What is my purpose, and what do I truly want? I understand intellectually our why is our fuel to propel us past our obstacles and to break through our ceilings. I hunger for growth and to reclaim my power, but my personal why seems elusive. Thank you for posting this question. So I'm going to say something that might sound very simple, and it's probably going to piss off a lot of guys, but I'm going to invite you guys into the possibility that the reason that we're here, like, why am I here? What is my purpose? Is to simply be ourselves. Like, our purpose of being a man is to grow and evolve our consciousness so that we actually end up just being who we truly are. Meaning we overcome all the nurturing, all the programming, from our parents to the school system, to our religion, to our town, to our city, to our government. We undo all of the nurture, and we allow our true nature to come to the surface. So why are we here is to just be ourselves and to grow and evolve. Why? So it could be of greater service to humanity. So within that, and as you grow, and as you start to come home into the remembrance of who you are, then things get revealed to you by the powers that be, by your creator, by God, as to what's your deeper mission, right? And that won't be handed to you until you have gotten to a place where you can handle that level of responsibility. So Man on Fire is a perfect example that, it took my own growth and maturation for God to reveal to me what it is that he wants of me. Now, this is different than a man saying, here's what I want to do with my life. Well, mostly what we want to do has to do with like what we're passionate about. But that's a different question than what is it that's wanted of me or from me. What do I want? Okay, well, who cares what I want? What's wanted of me or what's wanted from me from the powers that be? So Man on Fire is more, driven by mission. It's what God wanted of me or from me to be of service to others. So why are we here? To be ourselves. And what's required is that you do the growth, you do the work to get to a place where you actually have that level of transmission from your creator, where he can talk to you and help align you with your mission. Such a beautiful question. And we can do a whole live on this, and maybe we will do this down the road. But as I shared earlier, gentlemen, I'm a little bit off today, a little bit under the weather. I just served for 4 straight days of 17-hour days out in Colorado. 31 men attended our 4-day immersion. It's our signature event, and it was just so beautiful, so exquisite. It was filled with rapture and awe and grace and gratitude and love. We watched 31 men come home to the remembrance of who they are and really drop into their hearts and get out of their heads. And really, we laughed together, we cried together, we pushed each other, stretched each other, challenged each other to show us the real version of ourselves and bring that to the world. And it was just such an honor to be working with my team, with all these men, and just watch the light, the spirit, come back into their bodies, back into their face, the illumination. I'm watching them come back into remembrance of who they are, so they live into the congruence, the most aligned version, the most authentic version of who God made them to be. Just so beautiful. For those of you that want something like that, an intense 4-day immersion where you'll be held to the fire and your life is screaming for this type of wake-up call, let us know. I'm ready to grow. Down below, I want to explore one of your 4-day immersions. Write that, and we will reach out to you and see if you're truly ready, because there is an investment of your time, your energy, and your finances. All right, guys, it's always so much love, so much gratitude to be able to share this time with you and to have your trust. I wish you the happiest of holidays. I will not be doing, maybe I will be doing a live next week. I'm not sure yet, because I will be traveling with my wife. But so much love, so much gratitude, and I'll see you guys next week. There's your Man on Fire mentor, David Mailer. Bye for now, guys. And type below your greatest takeaway from today. What is your greatest takeaway from today? Bye for now, guys.